fail, but hold on. Live on YouTube. All right, there we go. The saw sound better be you doing that sound, I swear. Guys, come on. Is it actually that good? It's not that, like, it's not that good. Like, I have a feeling people who don't know the stream are going to hear my voice and they're going to be like, the hell is this? Oh, wait, hold on. I missed a message. Tweak said, I swear to God, if you make all these mechanics without a fishing wagon, I unsubscribe. Okay, listen. All right, listen. Really? What do you want? Like a random fucking cabin that just right in the middle has like a what are those like pools that you can blow and then like you have like a pool, like a little mini pool? Is that what you think? Just a fucking random ass like thing in the middle of a cabin, and you could just fish if you find a fishing rod? A Tweak, thank you for the prime. Thank you. I subscribe first so I can unsubscribe. You know, Texeld. A water-based jump level where if you miss the jump, your friends have to fish you back out. Like, there are some ideas of, like, having interdimensional, like, crazy stuff where it's, like, one of the cabins, one of the cabins could have, like, a portal that brings you to, like, a different area. Like, there are some ideas like that. There's another idea where it's, like, one of the cabins, when you enter it, it becomes a really large area. I don't know how we would go about doing that, though. Admittedly, because unless that cabin has no windows, the windows would become problematic. Really do some Doctor Who stuff with this train thing? Oh yeah, 100%. We'll get real wacky with it. We'll get real wacky with it. We'll try to get real wacky with it. That would be the goal. And then the last idea on the board is the Mafia. So something that I think will be cool is periodically other train rails will appear next to you, and then another train. Could be anything. It could be like an actual full-on train that you can go in and loot really quickly. Might have other monsters on there, of course. Or it could be the Mafia. And the Mafia will basically demand you for money or items that go to a certain value. And if you don't give them their demands, then they go to the back of the train and they spawn a Mafia monster who has a Tommy gun. So I think that'll be interesting. And if you pay them, then they don't spawn the Mafia, and then for the next 3 stations they won't appear. So kind of a fun little mechanic. It's not like an insta-death. It's kind of like a little bit more strategic, I guess. It's like, hey, can we risk having the Mafia spawn on the train kind of thing? Add the Suit for Hire character as an Easter egg monster. What the hell would he even be? What would he be? I feel like he wouldn't look fitting. He'd look buggy. Ah, yes, just like in the original game. Of course. A hitman attacking you? We'd have to redesign him. He just starts diving around. He'll dive so randomly that at times he might accidentally jump off the train. Just like how some players do in the actual game. Yeah. May it taste well? Yeah, it tastes like slop. Oat slop. A little bit of cocoa in there, brown sugar, Greek yogurt. Have it be a collectible costume, which gives the player the ability to dive. I kind of want to do the repo thing. I don't know. I feel like that might be copying, but make it so you can, like, what's the button in repo to go ragdoll? Is it like Q? I think, that could be fun. Or maybe once you crouch, then you can be grabbed. But I don't know. We're gonna need a grabbing system for the monsters anyways. We'll need to figure out how the monsters can grab you and then what it looks like to you when you get grabbed. Like how your camera is gonna function and everything. It's gonna be something we'll have to think about for sure. Because we'll need some pretty gnarly interpolation so you don't, you know, puke or something. Call the actual game friendslop? No, the game is called Train Rot. It's like a play on words of brain rot, but train. It's the best part of the game, is the name. I'm very happy with that name. Anyways, what are we doing today? What's on the chopping block? Right, we do need to create a filter for item sizes. Luckily, hold on. I think we have the item size enum. Yeah. Can I turn this into a string? I can. Okay, good. Then we can get the tag value and then equal this. You know what we should do though is let's actually check if that even works. Let's check if that even works. So this is asset data. Oh, right. How do I convert the primary asset ID to an asset data? I forgot. I don't think I can do that in Blueprint. Like, I don't think I can do that in Blueprint. Which is great. I'm pretty sure I did it here, though. You asset manager, get primary asset data. Why? Why is that not a thing? Primary asset. This would load it. Oh, this would not load it. Do I actually not have this? Is this not an exposed function in Blueprint? Get primary asset data? Really? 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 What's annoying? Here we have the item tags that get turned into a string. I would like to see what this even spits out. Okay, I guess we can make a function called get primary asset data. We can just copy that. So let's make a new U function. It's time to do this. This will spit out the asset data. Because we need the asset data from the primary asset ID. So we need that to be f asset data, I believe. Yes, because it's a structure. Get primary asset data. I guess we'll just call it that. And then the input will be the similar to the function above. And then we'll create the definition. And this will just return this, basically. Oh, wait, great. I got to do this. Let me just copy this. What am I doing? What am I doing with my life? We don't got time for this shit. And then we return the asset data. And I'm pretty sure that's all we need to do. I didn't know you started viewbotting your streams. No, Lana rated the stream. You know, Matthew, nice to see the Giga Chad live. I don't know if I'd call myself a Giga Chad. That's misinformation. Aren't you making the C++ a bit too clean for a slop game? Hey, listen, just because it's a slop game doesn't mean that it needs to run at 5 FPS or crash randomly. Hey. Actually, what we should do is if primary asset ID then return or return nothing. Wait. I forget how to code this. Is it in brackets? How can we check that this is valid? I was checking for an object. How do I check this is not empty? Oh, well, whatever. Surely I won't ever hook this up with a non-valid asset ID, right, guys? Surely I would never do that, right? Ha 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 ha. Ha ha ha. What am I working on today? First thing first, just trying to get the random item spawning kind of out of the way. We have moments where large items will spawn in the locker, and then they'll be stuck. So I just wanted to make sure that we are spawning the right things. But for me to get the tag value, I need to read from the asset data, and we can't read from the asset data because we're using an asset ID. So I'm just creating a function for that real quick. And then we'll slowly work on this more and more and more and more as time goes on. Like this, we'd probably want to filter out specific tags that are too large. My only problem though is if we use, right, if we use the item size, this is technically a byte value. I have to see what this actually spits out. Is if it's going to be the raw byte. If it's the raw byte, that's actually great for us. Because ideally, like, there might be spaces where we can spawn small and medium. So I did think about that. I was like, uh-oh, how are we going to do that? Or maybe a large space might spawn a small object or medium or whatever, right? So Yeah. And then thin tall might spawn small. I probably should have just called this small tall. Small tall, medium tall. I really really am not helping myself with these things. Oh, damn, Sonny. Damn. I haven't even been removed from my contractor Slack yet. It's been like months. But, you know, I'm not like going in there and what you guys working on? They blocked my Discord access too? Oh, damn. Hardest part of game dev, naming things and off by one errors. Dude, Lana, I am so like specific about how I name things. Because I think it does go a long way when you name something correctly, like name a function correctly or something like that, or name a variable correctly. Otherwise, you just like, you start staring at it and you're like, what the hell is going on? Listen, I'm looking out for future me. I'm looking out for future me. And then future me is probably going to complain because he's going to see something and be like, what the hell is that? But that's okay. Listen, fuck future me. He doesn't know what he's doing. Anyways, surely I won't get an error from this. That classic Uncle Bob book on clean coding has its first chapter dedicated to naming things well. I learned this from, I think it was like a quote from what's his name? The guy at id Software who worked on Doom. What's his name? The infamous programmer, a Doom guy. Yeah, Carmack. Yeah, Carmack had like a quote about like your functions should do exactly what it is specifying, nothing less, nothing more, or whatever. Things like that, naming variables correctly and whatnot. Because the idea is technically you shouldn't need comments when the code itself is self-explainable to some extent, right? Like the functions, you should be able to read it like it's English almost. Or at least that's how I perceive it. When you start writing comments, it means like something's maybe wrong in the code where it's like too complicated, or maybe it needs to be simplified or something else. But that's just because I'm lazy and I don't write comments. When I probably should. I probably should write some comments, but future me will know what I'm doing. Coding kind of is shorthand English after all. I do think there are ways of making your life easier for sure by just kind of treating it like it could be English. My comments are like / don't forget this. Ah, yes, the classic to-do. The classic to-do. Blueprint doesn't have a to-do system. Like similar to like code, syntax code, because with syntax code, I'm pretty sure if you do a to-do, it marks it, and then the next time you like build, it will like notify you of this to-do. We don't really have that in Blueprint. That just turned blue. What? Why did that turn blue? FS. Huh? All right, Ryder. I see what you're doing. Future you hates you and all that you represent, I guarantee it. Well, yeah, because future me is probably a better version of current me. So, no matter what I do, it's not going to be good for future me. No matter what I do. I did learn, though, a buddy of mine showed me this. I didn't know this was a thing until now. There's actually a way to see all of your comments, like, in a blueprint. Like, all of them. What was it called? It was called bookmarks. So bookmarks actually keeps track of literally every single comment, and you can search. So that would be one benefit of commenting, which, as you can tell, I don't do at all. In fact, a lot of my code is a bit don't look at it. Just don't look at it. It's better if you don't look at it. So I should probably start doing that because the bookmarks are kind of, I can see this being quite handy, like just quickly like running through. So completely useless for you? No, I can see it being useful. I just don't use it to its fullest extent, like by commenting, because I just don't comment. Details field if more info is needed to be communicated. Yo, when did they add that? And why is it localizable? Okay, all right, okay. When did they add that? That's actually kind of great. Wait, hold on. Test text with more test text. Oh, shit. Wait, I can write longer comments with a short comment? What? 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 Unreal adding helpful things with this alternate reality? Ah, yes, very helpful. You write long comment and then this appears in your localized text for some reason. I don't know why this is localized by default when this is this is like an editor thing. I feel like it shouldn't be localized, but who am I to say? I don't know how we're going to localize this game. Let's be real, you're never going to hover over that comment. That's not true. Maybe future me will, and then he'll be like, holy shit, it has an extra comment that's like not useful. And then I just redo all the code anyways. Yeah. Where am I? All right, we have this function called get primary asset data. So we need to do that in the item. Okay, so now I should be able to read from this, read from the asset ID, then it spits out the asset data, and then let's see if it actually gives us the item size, which I believe is just item size. Wait, what? Wait, what? Wait, what the hell is this? Why is for one? Why is the comment the thing above it? The comment of this is this, which is the commented out code. That's not right. Wait, this is supposed to be a function library. Why is it an object? Why is my function library an object? You need to add static on the function. Huh? Huh? What am I using C++ for? For some reason, in C++ you can get the primary asset data using the asset ID, but in Blueprint you cannot do that. So I had to make one real quick. So now if I write get primary asset data, there we go. That's how I like it. Okay, so now let's see item size. If this even spits out anything, I might have to adjust some stuff. Let's see if it spits out anything. Small. Ah. Aha. Okay. Okay, okay, okay. All right, small. Small, small, small. Okay. So, if that's small, let's make big. Let's make huge. Hold on, I got a message on Steam. Okay, where am I? Small, 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 small. Items. Items. So let's say test item. Which one's the big ball? Test item 2. So we'd probably want to define this as like large. I wouldn't say this is medium, but I wouldn't say this is large either. Maybe this is medium. Or maybe it's large. Because if we make this medium, then that means medium. The only things that could spawn in a locker are small objects. I would say this is large. And then we should probably have a fourth one called huge. Humongous. Ginormous. Now let's see if we see a large. We see large. It's actually giving us the tag values. What? Where did those spheres spawn? It said there's large. Did they spawn on the other train? What? They spawned on the other train, I think. Yeah, they did. I'm going to the other train. I'm breaking the simul... Why does Ghost not work anymore? You feel ethereal. I don't know if I do. Is Ghost not... Does not... Is it fly? Okay, none of the cheat commands are working anymore. Oh, you know what? I know why. Because we're not using the character movement component. Is this the final art slash style slash direction? No. No, there's still a lot we have to do. I think from a style standpoint, materials. Like, these are all just, like, the same texture on all of the materials. Just to at least have something there. I like the style of, like, a cassette futuristic kind of Loki style technology. So that's something, like, we're gonna kind of lean into that direction with stuff. That's gonna be kind of the idea. If this turns back on. I said if this turns back on. If the electricity comes back. Okay. Yeah. All right. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. All right. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Texas, huh? Texas. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Okay. Ah, there you go. Yeah. Yeah. So kind of like a style like this is probably what I'm going to try to go for. Is like kind of cassette futuristic, kind of sort of old sci-fi. I guess is kind of the idea. Old sci-fi. But, yeah, by no means final. A lot of things I think could look better. Like, this could look a lot better. It's, like, not perfect. It's better than what we had before. There's a little bit more geometry detail, but not, like, a crazy amount. So, we'll slowly get there. That locker sound was crazy goofy. I'm keeping it in. It might not sound realistic, but it's fun. It's just fun. We gotta have some little funny... Whoa, whoa, whoa! What was that? Some little funny elements. Okay, so... This spits out the tag value. It does not spit out the byte. Do I want it to spit out the byte? I might want it to spit out the byte. Unless I can take this, turn it into an enum. Can I turn a string to an enum? Is that possible? We could do enum to string, but can we do string to enum. I don't think so, guys. Am I gonna add sounds to the furnace? Yeah, I gotta give it an opening sound. I haven't given that one an opening sound yet. Yeah, for that one, I might want to actually do I might want this to spit out a byte value rather than an enum value, because yeah. No, I don't want to do a bunch of if-else statements. Are you kidding me? Thin, tall, medium, tall, large, tall. Hmm. You can turn a string to a vector. Can't you also, I'm pretty sure you can set a static mesh. But then you have to load the static mesh to get the bounds of the static mesh, which is not ideal. Then we end up going back into the realm of loading things when we don't want to. Anyways, for those that are confused, a few days ago we were kind of like looking into how I could potentially, instead of fully loading items to determine, you know, basically like tags, giving them tags. The tags will always be loaded, but the other elements on the inside will not. The idea is I just want to be able to filter out items that might be too large for a space. So that's kind of what we're doing. And I just want to make sure that we're not loading all of the items when we, you know, randomize through them and whatnot. So that's kind of what we're tackling. Because the problem right now is, at times, the gigantic sphere will find its way spawning in the... This sphere will end up in here. And as you can see, it doesn't fit. But somehow, it still spawns in there. So, basically trying to determine a system that will specifically spawn certain types of items and their sizes and whatnot in a space. The monsters are going to be only in the train or outside also? There's some ideas. I have some ideas of like monsters that are like outside, and if you get spotted by them, maybe you get like shot at or something like that. Like it could be anything, obviously. So I do think it would be cool having some monsters on the outside. Like I think a monster that could be fun is like a vulture that just sits on the top of cabins looking down, waiting until like a player appears underneath them. I think that could be a pretty fun thing to add to the game. I want to see if we can spawn a sphere in here so I can show you guys what I mean. What is that noise, man? What is that noise? Anyways, whatever. The idea is we just need to somehow filter out items that should not appear in certain places. Because there might be some large items, etc., etc. So, The problem is, though, we're spitting it out as a string. Which is not ideal. If we have something that's tall, I'm thinking instead of thin tall, medium tall, and large tall, maybe the specifier for tall is just tall. If an object is tall, it's just tall. It's just a tall object that's just there. Another thing I'm thinking, though, is use Starbucks terminology. Grande. Tall. Venti. Yes. Venti. Maybe instead of an enum, we use a vector. And then I just input the size of the object into the data asset myself. Because the nice thing that we can do here is take this string and turn it into a vector. Convert the string back to a vector. So I think that's what we're going to do. We are going to convert the item size to a vector, which I think is f vector. I think this should work without me having to do it here, but maybe we just do it anyways. So instead of item tags, this is item size, and then item size to string. Okay, that works. And then okay, item size, nice. No, there's just some things going on in the background. Don't worry. Don't worry about it. All right, so we converted the item size. Let's also do it in the struct because we have a struct here. Let's do this. Let's turn that into an f vector just in case if I ever end up using this. Kind of sucks that you can't set a struct in here, but so be it. Okay, so now let's rerun this. Let me save this. Rerun this. I gotta say the C++ workflow is kind of annoying. You like edit one thing and then you gotta rerun everything and then well, at least it gives me time to eat some slop. This should now spit out 0, 0, 0. Okay, good. True is a good sign. That means that this is able to convert it successfully. All right, well, here's the idea then. Here's the idea. So this mesh scale is 0.6. So I have to go in here, look at the ball. This kind of sucks because then I have to do this manually. It would be nice if maybe I can make a system that does this for us. Ideally, that would be a a better idea. But unfortunately, this is just what it is. This is just what it is. It'd be this way. Actually, I'm curious. Can I take this and turn this into a tag? No, this is something else. Oh man, I wish you could take a string and then convert it into a gameplay tag. I'm sure you could probably build a tag container from a string. I'm sure there's probably a way. Also, why are balls spawning in the locker? It kind of sounds weird. Listen, we're going to stop the balls from spawning in the locker, okay? Balls will not be spawning in the locker. All right, 139 times 0.6. So this is 83.4. So I have to go in for every item and now specify the bounds manually. 100 times 0.25, so that's 25. I can do math. Surprisingly. Yeah, I can do math sometimes. The hand crank flashlight is 25 by 10 by 16. Multiplied by 0.8. Oh, great. I gotta do that manually. Maybe I should make a system for this. Because this is gonna suck. 25 times 0.8 is 20. Then we have another 0.8 in here. You know what? Maybe instead of item size, maybe I should use sphere size. No, that won't work though, because tall items will be enormous. That wouldn't work. 10 times 0.8, 8. 16 times 0.8, I don't know. 12.8. It's awfully specific. Will I add mods for Sufro? Like you can download it from the workshop? I'm not sure. Maybe in the future? Could write a script to measure items in games that save the size value somewhere. You can edit a primary asset. The primary asset data is the one that you can edit in runtime, right? Is that the one you can edit in runtime? Which one is the one that you can edit in runtime? I don't remember which one it was. I know I messed around with that for the zombie game at one point. I made like a whole spawner. But I don't remember if it was a primary asset data or not. Like, can I edit this in runtime? Because if so, I could just make a button that like does it for me, or even like on startup, it does it for me. Yeah, I could easily make our script. Like it's an easy math. I just take this static mesh, read from its bounds, multiply it by the mesh scale value, and then set that to the item size. That would be the ideal. I wonder, actually, can you add C++ code to a data asset? Like, can I modify this on the fly? Because then if I could just... Can I Like, can I put some C++ code in here and will it work? What am I using data assets for, by the way? I'm using them for the items. Hey, Golden. Hope you all are doing well. Hey, likewise. Modify data asset from C++. Oh, can I not modify stuff from directly from the data asset, or do I have to do it for somewhere else? Like, can there not be any C++ code in here? Create a data assets class base and do a button action that's a function of C++ that get it for you, or just use a post edit change for everyone. The add a blueprint, the data asset recalculates. Do a button action that's a function in C++ that gets it for you. Like I can do it as an editor utility widget. That's not an issue. But then that means I have to go back to that button, push that button, every time we edit the data asset just to make sure that everything's like up to date. So I wonder if we could just like could I don't think I could do it straight from the header. Is that like bad practice to just do it straight from the header? Use post edit change. You had a blueprint. The data asset recalculates. Post edit change is linked by attribute. Is that a property? Post edit change. Let me read into that. Post edit change. Post edit change. Let me take a look. And then in your data assets source file, I'm just reading this fucking AI Google bullshit. Post edit change property. Wait, hold on. Okay, so in the C++ file, we need it. I don't like using this AI stuff. I feel like it always fucks me, but whatever. Such as now. This doesn't exist. This isn't real. I don't think that's. Let me try this. So if we do. Oh, and if. Interesting. This would have to be put somewhere. It's a virtual function. Would I have to put that in the header real quick? You know what I'm noticing? We are kind of doing some code here in the header right here, technically. So I actually don't even know if it's needed in... Yeah. Wait. Can we set item size? Is equal to match scale multiplied by hold on, first let me check if I can actually would I have to do this in the C++? I guess I'd want to do this in C++, wouldn't I? Rather than in the header. Let's see. probably want to run it in the header, wouldn't I? Wouldn't I want to run it in the header? Well, I had mods for train route. Well, we'll see. We'll see. Ideally, it would be cool. What's the friendslop game? You and your friends have to manage a train that transports monsters and cargo. You have to fuel the train with random items that you find on the train, and also keep it running by repairing it. Is it not item size equals? Is it not how you set a variable? Am I having a problem here? And then we need to check the item mesh, which is a soft object pointer. Because it's a soft object pointer, can I not get the bounds of it? Like, will this load it temporarily for us when we do this? How's the F name prop name? Is that required? Oh, you're getting which property was just changed. I just want to check if any property was changed. Although I guess it would be good to check which property was actually changed. Probably a good idea. You can call modify on the object and potentially call posted to change property on the owning object. Oh, and then you usually want to call this at the end. Possibly at the end, and then that'll update everything. Thought my air cooler wasn't going to fit in my new case. It'll fit in the case though. It'll just be 6 millimeters from the side panel. Yeah, mine is pretty big as well. I'm pretty sure it's like really tiny. No operator equal matches argument of this. Wait, why is it that I can't just set the vector? No operator equals matches arguments of type math t vector double and math t box sphere bounds. Well, try it out. Hey, what's the worst that could happen? My whole project explodes? Eh, whatever. Who cares? Let's go. So, if this works, technically, if it does work, technically the values will update on their own for the item size. So let's say I do 0.9. Okay, that crashed the engine. Had an expectation that that would happen. Where is the log for that actually? Where's the crash log? It did not even give me a crash log. It just closed. You need an if. Where would we put the if? It's also maybe, let's try maybe putting this at the beginning as well, just in case. Oh, is it? Oh, do we need a hashtag if with editor? I don't think that's like necessary, especially considering that this will only update. Yeah, I might need to check what changed. You need an if for the reference, check if it's null. Oh, if the item mesh is null? Oh, it might be null because it's a soft object reference and it's probably not loaded. This is probably going to be the problem because we need to load the item mesh temporarily. I'm pretty sure. It probably cannot get the bounding box because it's not loaded in. Yeah, I should do an else. Yeah, let me do that. That'd be a good thing to do, actually. Let's see, 0.9. It did not crash, however, it's not setting the value, which I think definitely does mean if, and then else. God, I hate the way that you write UE log. Warning, item mesh is null. Oh, hey, thanks. You actually, for once, you actually wrote the right text. Unless this crashes, which then, fuck you, AI thingy. Stupid autocorrect bullshits. Okay, all right. Actually, for once, wrote the right thing. Wow, that's cool. That's really cool, for once. Load synchronously? I probably would want it to be async. Okay. Technically, the log should appear here in my writer. Item mesh is null. Yep. So we need to, how do you, isn't that an editor only thing anyway? This is an editor only thing anyway, yes. How would you, so load synchronously? Can you show me the H file? Yeah, this is what it looks like. We have a T, soft object pointer, virtual void, item mesh, load synchronous. We'll turn the soft object to surf reference to a hard reference. Okay, that might be the way that we do it then. So hold on, let's see. So item mesh, load synchronous. Would this just load it for us? Returns the asset object represented by this asset pointer. Okay. Returns the asset object represented by this asset pointer. What I do, mesh equals, and then if I mesh. Okay. See if that works. Cloud AI isn't too bad for program-related questions. I'm sure it's just, I don't really care much for it. Yeah, that has to be a pointer. Unless, can I actually do this? Can I just load it synchronously while keeping item mesh? Will the soft object load it after it's been hard loaded? You need to wrap the function declaration in the header file with if with editor. This one here. As well. So on top of having it here in the CPP file, it also needs to be done in the header file as well. Have I seen the recreating Minecraft and C++ videos? Ah, you mean the 1 million videos that do the same thing? There's a new one? Whatever. Hold on, I gotta eat my oat slop. What is that number? Unload after calculation? Yeah, I'm thinking about doing that. Just so I don't break everything. This is not correct though. 13, 23, 44. Oh, it's a half extent. It's a half. And then let's how do you unload? Is it like, is it release? Is it like it's not unload. Have I ever watched a Blue Drake video? Yeah, not my style. Not my tempo. Not my tempo. I have a feeling it might... I don't know if the editor garbage collects. I'm pretty sure it does after a period of time. How do you even unload a soft object reference? Unload soft object reference. Oh, it will get garbage collected, but I don't know if it will garbage collect itself. Oh, this person is doing exactly what I'm doing. They're using load synchronous to load the mesh and assign it. Should I unload this after I'm done? You do not need to unload it manually. The reference object will just get garbage collected. I don't remember if the editor does. I'm pretty sure it does do garbage collection. It's just not as often as in-game. How would you even mark this as, like, I guess you could just run garbage collection manually. I don't remember. Anyways, this should work now. Now that it's multiplied by 2, that should give us the right value. Yes. Progress! That means I don't have to manually calculate the bounds anymore. Although, guys, what was that mesh scale number? Because I changed it and I don't remember what it was. I want to say it was 0.8. And it works. Everything works properly. Oh my god, it works. It works. Yes, it works. Look at that. 21, 37, 71. Yes, yes. Very good. Now I just have to go everywhere else. I think I did this one manually. Okay, now it gets the actual values. Once it's loaded, doesn't it become part of the object stack, and can't you just unload it like any other object based on distance or time or whatever? In this case, it's just an editor tool. So honestly, I'm not like worried about it. We could simply just restart the engine and it will unload these things. And as far as I know, it will only keep these things loaded when we are in game or whatever. So I don't think it's a huge issue. It's a non-issue. If it were something in the case of the game, then obviously, yeah, that could be, cause for concern. Okay, so now instead of dealing with a stupid enum, instead I will now deal with my skylight being extremely dark for some reason. What we'll do with the spawn volumes is it will have a bounding box, and then it will check any of the items that match the size or lower, and then it will randomly select from that. And then that's the way that we're going to do this system. Yeah! Yeah! Yeah, anyways, that's how we're going to do it. I think that's a lot better than having to deal with an enum, because then the enum is just annoying. However, if we do with like bounding boxes, it just gives us so much more control. So much more control. So now we have item size. And now we just... I guess we'd have to do a for loop. Not the greatest thing in the world, because yeah, we might want to do this one in C++, but it's fine for now because we only have 4 items. But you can imagine once we have like 100 or 50, even 50, and then we do that loop of 50 across the entire train. Not the most ideal thing in the world. Not the most ideal thing in the world. If you already plan on doing 50 to 100, why not just start the C++ or at least ensure this task is orange? Yeah. Can you use a map and then find by key? This all works off of the tag value, which works by loading the primary asset data. This kind of sucks though. So we could do the stupid way, which is we randomly select one, and then if it's too big, we select something else randomly from the array. Like, we could do it that way. Is that smart? Well, I don't know. Because there is a chance that we go through like a big loop of it just like constantly trying to find things. But what's the chances that it goes like constantly? It is just on level generation though. We could in theory stagger the begin play for the spawn volumes as well. That way they don't happen all at once on the server, but they happen over maybe a period of time. Well, first and foremost, we need a box. Can I make the box solid? I feel like that would look kind of nice. Can I make this a solid box? This is technically not editor only. We do need this actually spawning in. Oh, shit. No, don't affect navigation. Don't do any of that. No collision. Start with tick. We don't need tick around this. It would be really cool if this could be solid, but not a problem. Not a huge problem. We'll see if it lags the game. I don't know. During tick or common actions? Yeah, for sure. This is literally just on startup, so not a huge issue. I'm not like too happy about the fact that we're spawning all of the items at once. I could see that becoming a problem. Like, I'm sure we might want to find a different way to have items spawning in and out, but it's kind of hard to deal with that in multiplayer. Like, obviously we'll have the luggage. The luggage will be a nice way to do optimization because we don't have to spawn the item directly from the luggage. We wait until the player actually opens the luggage or breaks it open or whatever, and then we can spawn the items from there. So it will be interesting to optimize that stuff. Maybe spawn items when someone enters the room. We could, but then we need to keep track of the items that they loot in that room. Yeah, I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll figure out what we end up doing for that. But obviously having all of these items and actors spawned in all at once, probably not the most ideal thing in the world. We're gonna have to figure out what we do in a multiplayer scenario for this. That'll be very interesting. So we want to check the vector bounds, compare it to the bounds of the box. Now I don't know if this box extend is halved. I don't know if it's halved. Let's see. What is it right now? So technically it's 32, 32, 32. It's scale of 1. In theory, this should spit out 32, 32, 32. Okay, but is that actually 32, 32, 32, or is that 64 by 64 by 64? I don't know, because there's no ruler. Or there is a ruler, but I have to go in top-down view to see if it's still there. It is 64. Ah, haha. You nearly had me there. Haha. Okay. Because this I multiply by 2. Make a ruler asset. Completely just diverge from all of the development. Yeah, I'm going to make a ruler. Yeah, we probably are. I do think the ideal would be is spawning the items as needed, but yeah. Use that list for future spawns. Yeah, I guess what we could do is just keep the item spawned there. Like, that might not hurt versus everything being spawned. Food for thought, potentially. Okay, so we need to check if a box fits in a box. Is there already some math in here that can check if box fits in box? Maybe I'm overthinking it. If I turn something into a box, I'm curious. We make box. No, we make the other box, the one with the origin. Yeah. Okay. Can this box check whether the given bounding box A intersects this bounding box? No, that's not what we want. I need to check if a box fits in the box. Which, I guess we could just do that by Checking all of the separate XYZs. There has to be a better way of doing that other than checking all of the like doing this and then doing is less than or whatever. There's got to be a better way of doing that, right? Wish we had guides when moving things like in Photoshop to align or space. Yeah, wouldn't that be nice, huh? Wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be nice, huh? Yeah, there's no way of checking less than for a vector. And I don't want to do vector length because then that might give us an incorrect value. So I guess this is what we're doing. So we get the item size is less than the box bounds. We could do less than or equal to, but I'm just going to do, I'll just do this. And then we do an and. This and this and this and this. Not the most ideal thing in the world, but it is what it is. If so here's how we're going to do something really stupid, which could result in an infinite loop. I don't think it should. But what we could do as a safety precaution is turn this into a local array, which is just a bunch of asset IDs, which is fine. And then if it's too big, then we just remove it from the array and then redo the random. I guess that's one way to do this. Surely at some point it should select something. It won't be, it's stupid, but it might just work. So, this is going to be potential items list. Ah, yes, the potential items list. Put them in there. And then we have selected item. Very good. If this is true, if false, we're going to remove item, which is selected item. And then we're going to rerun random selection. I'm sure there's probably like a term for this being a really stupid idea in the coding world. Maybe the term is just really stupid idea. Maybe that's just what you would say. Ah, yes, really dumb idea. But if it's true, then we do nothing. I think that's literally it. We just do nothing because then it'll just select a different selected item. And then the thing that actually spawns the item handle the case if the array ends up empty. That is true. I probably will want to do something about if it ends up being empty. Let's just do this as a safety precaution. When we try to load the item, we want to check that this is valid first and foremost. What are the chances that this begin play does not complete by the time the items are selected? So, Oh, no wonder I couldn't spawn an item in the locker. There's no item to spawn in the locker. Well, aren't I just a little silly? Aren't I just dumb? No, don't hide the whole locker. Just maybe I should create the thing is I don't want to assign a child actor to this. That's just asking for a headache. But this is like kind of already within the bounds of the locker, surprisingly. Except for this top section. So this is great. Now what we can do is take this and scale it down. Now, of course, I have a feeling that this get component bounds. Is this... Great, here we go. Does that know that it's scaled down? Is it scaled box extent or is it doing something stupid? Okay, it knows that it's scaled down. However, that did that a million times. Do you guys see how many times that did that? This is the only one I've scaled down. Oh, wait. No, that's not true. Okay, it might have done it multiple times, but there's a chance that cabin 1 spawned multiple times on the random... I keep forgetting. The random train spawns in here, and then that causes like a bunch of things to double or triple just because of how things work. Now, that being said, though... This is a pretty stupid system. No need to click save after compile. I know, I just like to click it anyways because sometimes the engine will crash and then... Yeah. Your safety net didn't work? It did. It's not spawning huge items in here anymore. Or at least it shouldn't be anymore. See? Small items. If it spawns a sphere in here, that means my code is fucked. Is that the door sound? I think that's the wind. I think that's the wind. I'm gonna give it a 1 second start delay. Wait. Okay, now that's something else, but that's fine. I think it works now. Oh, you're talking about this door. Guys, I think I can say with certainty it is not spawning a sphere in here, which is great. Now that does mean that because these are all by default 32, none of these are going to spawn a sphere. So what we could do now is we could be like, okay, well, let's increase the spawn range of this thing. Let's increase the spawn range of this thing too. For testing, let's go ahead and spawn some larger stuff here. Go here. Larger item here. Right? And then this should now be able to spawn spheres. Ah! Yep! Whoop! The power went out. It don't matter. We fuel in the train. The video game is video gaming. I'm video gaming out of my mind. Now, ideally, it would be nice that the locker had these preset. It would be really nice if the lockers had these preset, but unfortunately, I fucking hate child actors. That doesn't sound right. I hate I hate Blueprint. I hate Unreal Engine child actors. Let me rephrase. Whatever. Whatever, man. Clipped and shipped. Whatever, man. I could, like, what would be the way to make it so it auto spawns in some bounding boxes here? We could use, what's it called? We could use scene components. But then I'd have to turn the item spawn volume into a scene component. Make it a box component? Man, why doesn't Unreal just have a way to do this properly? You know what I mean? Why doesn't Unreal just have a way to do this properly? Anyways, you know what time it is. Random item spawning on train cabins. Done. Obviously, though, we need, let me write down another task in here. I can't see the add a new card button because there's these stupid buttons at the bottom here. Thank you, Trello. Oh, here we go. I could do it like this. Rarity for item spawning and item tag / type. It's not like core, but it would be nice. Like, it would be part of the core loop. No, actually, it's not. It's not part of the core loop. It's just a nice to have thing. Meep, 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 meep. Do you guys not like the locker sound? The sound implementation took longer than the rest of the game, right? No, actually, it took me a very short amount of time. That's why it's broken, because the fucking math isn't right. But I left it in, because I think it just sounds funny. And then if you extend it beyond the bounds of where it's supposed to be, for some reason it goes into the negative values. So I'm like, you know what? You know what? I'm leaving it in. I'm leaving it in because I can. Because I can. Yeah, I'm really happy with the game so far. It's actually coming along. We got the monitor showing the route, which is like part of the core loop, of course. It just needs a lot more work, like modifying the speed over time based off of how much fuel we have, and of course how many problems are on the train, and blah 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 blah. Of course. Yes. Very happy. We can still fuel the train. We just need a lot more item variants now. Just a bunch of items. Need a bunch of items. Fun objects that do stuff. Maybe more. We need to make more maintenance jobs. What's on our list? So we have this one. This one's done. We need the toilet clog. We have the Steam link. Gear arrangement. Some gears fell out of place and the players need to rearrange them and socket them into place. How the hell and how shit? How are we gonna do the gear arrangement? Do we need to make it so like the players need to find the gears on the floor or something? I don't want to soft lock the players though, if that happens. Play test when? I've been periodically doing little tests just to make sure things are going okay. Last test we did, clients for some reason would, their FPS would slowly dwindle until it's like 20. I think I fixed that though, so hopefully for the next test I can determine if that's still there. Don't you worry. I was on the job. Past me was on the job, and I believe past me fixed the problem, I think. Lever sequence is psychotic. Two or more levers need to be pulled in a short time span. Taking too long resets all levers. Yes, the overheated vents. The vents would become extremely hot. Players that enter it would slowly take damage. To bring the heat down, the player needs to find an AC unit panel and drag down the temperature using an interface. It's literally you turning down a thermometer or whatever. That's it. That's all it is. It's you going to... That's it. We got the door jam. We actually don't have that many maintenance tasks. I think we need to come up with some more ideas. Like, what are some fun, interactable things that we could get the players to do? I had an idea for, like, cables being unplugged, and then you gotta, like, drag a cable and plug it back in. Like a big pipe or, like, a big squiggly cable. But then that means we need to do some sort of, like, physics simulation for the cable or whatever. We could do an Among Us, like, drag the cables and bring them, you know, plug the cables back in. It's just color matching and whatnot. That could be, we could write that one down. Gear arrangement could be made easier by providing the solution by sacrificing a provided bonus or something. Like, I was thinking, like, let's say the gears, you have to fix it, like, right here. It's, like, in the wall or something. We could have the gear spawn somewhere in the cabin, which I think would be great. The problem then is, what are the chances someone picks that up and then puts it in the furnace? And then melts it, or they throw it off the train. So it's almost like melting the cog would not do anything, and then we'd have to respawn it. Otherwise, you might, like, you wouldn't get soft locked, but you'd obviously still have that maintenance task requiring fixing. I think it'd be cool to have items that actually are somewhere randomly placed in a cabin and you have to, like, go and find it and then put it in place. Like, I think that would be great. That'd be a great, like, really meshes in with, like, the gameplay style and stuff like that. But should I let players potentially... They wouldn't soft lock themselves, but they could potentially soft lock themselves. I wonder. The alternative is when you throw it in the furnace, it doesn't melt, which then means it's a required item that you need. Or if you bring it too far away from the thing, it just, like, despawns and then, like... But that might be confusing as a player, like, seeing that happen. Like, it just dissolves. into nothingness. Or maybe we do like some monologue system, because that is something I'd like to do. Is like if you start getting cold, it's like your body starts feeling cold. You know, some like random thing that like is like a notification of you in your body state. Maybe we could say like there's a dialogue, like a little monologue when you pick up an item that's like required for something. It's like I might need this. Like that could be like the text for it or something. Make them ridiculously big, bigger than the door to the furnace. Brother, have you seen the size of this fucker? Are you for real? Have you seen the size of this furnace? Have you seen the size of this bad boy? I could fit in here. And I will be able to melt myself at a future date. I love the idea of like items being usable. Do we punish the player if they just end up using the item stupidly by just melting it in the furnace or throwing it off the train somehow? Maybe we make it... I don't know. Maybe we make it so it can only spawn the cog minigame. Am I spitting? Am I drooling on myself? What the hell? Hold on. Okay. For some reason I had oat slop on my fucking, like, I had like liquid on my finger, and I was like, what the hell's going on? And then I had oat slop on my sweater and everything. Oh. I'm sick in the head and shit. Okay, it's more funny if the player can accidentally melt the gears. I know, I'm thinking about that. I'm like, there's a fly in here, bro. Get out of here, man. I'm working. Get away from, don't get in my slop. It's my slop. I haven't finished. If you melt yourself, are you going to give the train more fuel? Yes. So if your friend dies and their body is intact, you could take their body and recycle them, you know? Fuel for the train. Fuel for the engine. It's more funny if the players can accidentally melt the gears. Like, so here's the thing. We can guarantee a gear cog spawn in the cabin that might be associated with the thing, right? Like, if it breaks, the cog spawns during the event, not during spawn. So that would be the only time where we dynamically spawn a specific object. And we can also spawn other gear cogs on the train as well that could be used. So I guess it could be a learning process. The player figures out, oh, shit, we shouldn't have melted the cog because now we need those cogs. And then they could use spare cogs as fuel, or maybe spare cogs to sell. It's a friendslop game, so I'd consider always going for the option to do more funny things even if it hinders on progress. Yeah, I agree. I think there should be also a learning process. It could be a learning process for players figuring out, oh fuck, we melted the cog that we randomly saw on the floor after the cog thing broke. and then you're kind of scrambling around the train trying to find a spare. I think that could be kind of funny. And it really goes integral to the entire like gameplay loop, which is finding items, and then that item subsequently is also potentially used for an actual thing. Request to rename the cog to gear, so I don't have my friends yelling at me to find some cock. No, now we're really calling it gear cog. Now we really gotta call it cog. Oh. Something I was also thinking about, you cannot interact with any items when you have something in your hand. Do we keep that in? Or do I maybe make it so it's like, in theory, you hold the flashlight in one hand so you can use your left hand. So this shows a right hand, maybe we could just show a left hand icon. Because right now, you cannot open the door when you have a flashlight out. Kind of like a good gameplay element, so then like you have to take it out. But in theory, also kind of stupid, because like I feel like you'd be able to use your left hand. You know what I mean? Something I'm thinking about. If like, I would say, if you were holding up a fire extinguisher, you would not be able to open this. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like that would be applicable, because we could say, oh, you're holding the fire extinguisher with two hands or something. One-arm creatures. We only got one arm. Although we do have two. So I don't know. I'm thinking about that. From a usability standpoint, it might be really annoying. Don't ask me why this is happening. I literally don't know why that's happening. If we throw it right here, it melts. There's no bounding box on the top of this, so what's going on? I don't know. Anyways, we're making great progress. I'm getting really happy with this project. Honestly, I'm having a blast working on this shit. I'm having a blast working on this. I hope you guys are having a blast watching it. I am gonna head out though. I kind of feel poopy. I'm not gonna lie. I gotta go to the bathroom. I feel like I'm getting a bit of a headache. We did a good amount of work today. We got the well, not really a good amount, but you know, we got the thing that we thought would be annoying, which is the item spawning stuff in. Yeah, I feel like my head's gonna explode. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for dropping by. Thanks for lurking, chat, and sticking around. I really appreciate you guys spending your time here with me and helping me out, and hopefully you guys had a good time and enjoyed yourself. Yeah, I'm gonna go clear my brains or something. Tomorrow, let's get started on the maintenance system. Route system, that's in progress. Yeah, I might just need to drink some water. Might just be that. I just might need some more water or something. I feel like I haven't been drinking water enough. Let's work on the maintenance system tomorrow and the fault system. Let's get that going. I really do need to get that going, and that's going to be a big one. And let's also get started on some of the other systems that we might want to start creating the bones for, like the cog one. I think that'd be great. I might have to write that down. Wait, I did. Gear arrangement. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Thanks for dropping by, everybody. Hope you have a great day. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great day. Goodbye. Goodbye. Bye-bye.